Hey everyone, we are live from the D23 Expo. This is day 2. This is our first show for the morning, and we have a very big announcement to make, and that was at the live action film panel that just wrapped up about half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago. They finally announced it, coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios and Disneyland Park.
Yay.
A brand new Star Wars expansion.
We are very excited. So one can only hope Innoventions is finally being knocked down.
Oh, yeah. And, well, they're going to have something to do on their hands because this isn't just going to be a tiny little land. This is going to be the biggest expansion.
14 acres.
14 acres. The biggest expansion in Disney's history. Michael, do you know what Cars Land is in terms of acreage offhand?
Offhand, I think it's like 6-7 acres.
Okay, so
wow.
that's the scope that this place is going to be.
And this is also going to push technology. This is going to be the most immersive land, even beyond Avatar, and the most technologically advanced land that Disney has ever done.
Oh, absolutely. And for those of you who are wondering, what place is it going to take in the Star Wars saga? Where is it going to come in? Rhino, where's it coming into place?
A brand new land, and I thought that was a very interesting announcement to make. It was almost like we're going to create a whole new world that you can only visit and see by going to the park. So
yes, and it's
all existing within canon. Yeah.
Yep, it's all in that canon, a brand new land, and we actually have some not so great pictures of it that already have been posted, but I'm going to go ahead and show one of them right now. We're probably going to lose audio whenever I click away, so I'll show it for about 10 seconds, and then we will come back. So hang on a second, folks. Okay, that was the first picture that we looked at.
Yeah. I just want to know, why they announced this today is because I wore my Star Wars shoes.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately,
Lucky
unfortunately, it's just not quite on camera. But this is just going to be breathtaking. They showed us even more pictures. We have 2 more that we're actually going to bring up. So I'm going to show the first of you now, and we're going to get all that good stuff out of the way. So just give me one more moment. Here's the next picture showing off Star Wars, the land right now. Okay, so that is the first 2 glimpses. We have one more coming out that will just be in just a little bit longer, but let's get into what this new planet actually is. Well, it's going to incorporate elements that we'll see in the brand new film, The Force Awakens, as well as all of the other movies that have already taken place in the Star Wars saga. So there's lots to look forward to, and whenever you come in that, with that creative environment is also going to come the creative Star Wars creatures that we've known and seen in all the movies. So expect to see very familiar aliens in there. Expect to see all the different droids. Expect to see all the creatures that will inhabit the planet and be able to get up close and very personal with them. And
Princess Leia's slave women.
No, hey. And a great place to do that will be the cantina that's actually taking place that look just a little bit familiar to the Mos Eisley cantina that, of course, is seen.
Stepping right into Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
From the concept photos that they showed, it looks exactly like it.
Oh, yeah.
I thought what was really cool about that, too, is when they were showing those pictures, they were saying all the stores and restaurants that they're going to put in this place are going to be run by the inhabitants of the land. So it's very like it's almost like you're shopping local business when you go there. You know what I mean? Like you will go to this world and it's the world's local.
Oh yeah, and beyond that, that screams one thing to me right away, and I'd be remiss without saying it, but the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. This is their first real big attempt at overtaking the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And I know I've been a little bit hesitant on what Star Wars would actually look like in that big realm. One of the complaints I made a long time ago was that if they did this Star Wars land, I wouldn't want just random people working in this land. I would want it really true to the story. And someone must have been listening to me whenever I said that, because that's the decision they went with. More about this. Well, you're going to see all different types of environments, but the big part of this is that it is a spaceport on the edge of that galaxy. And so if
on the
it's
edge
a spaceport,
of the outer rim, I believe.
Yes, on the
Before
edge
you get
of the-
into wild space.
Yeah, and if it's a spaceport, what do you expect to see at the spaceport?
Oh, I mean,
Everything.
yeah, exactly.
Everything, yeah.
Oh,
'Cause-
one thing in particular, though.
Oh, what do I expect, or are you cueing me? Oh, okay, I get where you're going with this. I don't know, maybe the Millennium Falcon, perhaps?
Oh, yeah, the Millennium Falcon. So we are going to cut away right now to the concept art of the Millennium. So that was the picture of the Millennium Falcon for all of you out there who are actually watching this. And for those of you who are actually listening, these will obviously, they're already online on the wdwinfo.com. So that's where you'll be able to see these photos. But the Millennium Falcon, it's not just going to be a set piece there.
No.
It's going to be part of an attraction, one of two attractions.
And these aren't going to be just like, a Wookiee Whirl kiddie ride attractions. These are, again, going to be beyond anything Disney has ever developed.
Yeah, exactly. And with the Millennium Falcon attraction, you're actually going, as they described it, you're going to be able to take the controls of the Millennium Falcon and
Goosebumps I got when they said that, too.
engage in a climactic battle with the First Order against the Resistance.
Yeah.
So, and maybe I was too busy scrambling down notes. They didn't actually, in this presentation, announce what the second attraction would be, right?
No, they
he
did
didn't.
not.
And what's interesting, though, is I didn't get the exact word usage he was using. I was kind of geeking out, but also writing. You can see I have terrible handwriting at this moment in time. But he was saying, he made it sound like this is going to be how Star Tours kind of changes, mix and matches every time you go on, that this is going to be a similar experience. It sounded like to me where, like, it might not be the same every time for every guest, or it might be different. It sounded like it was tailored to specific people.
He said it was a customized trip where you were going on a mission and you were piloting the Millennium Falcon on a secret mission that was just for you.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool.
No, this is... this was something I don't think... we were all hoping it deep down. The big fear that a lot of us had in that auditorium was because the park's announcements are all coming next at 3 o'clock. So
we weren't going to make it,
for us, we're like, there's no way we'd be able to get out of the live action and get back in line and actually secure a seat. Well, apparently Bob Iger agreed, and that's why whenever they went into the Star Wars film talking about that, they also then went into the parks too. But no, this was so huge, such a surprise to come at this point. If we thought anything, it would be at the parks announcement. And
he loves those end of show surprises like that.
And there's going to be more about this expansion, he said, in the theme parks and resorts presentation.
Exactly.
And when you think about the power behind this land, though, Scott Trowbridge, the Imagineers, Lucasfilm, and Industrial Lights and Magic are all collaborating on this attraction, on this expansion. So this is, with all of that technology, creativity behind this land, it's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be incredible. And, of course, at this one, they didn't get into where it was actually going to be taking place in terms of where at in Disneyland Park and where at in Hollywood Studios. We all have our ideas. We've seen the rumors. We'll wait till it's officially announced. We won't get into those.
Maybe that'll be in the next thing, and we'll have that later today. Who knows?
Exactly. But before we get really started, that's essentially all the information that was presented.
And then they had the tagline where it says, "Live your adventure at a Disney park near you." So get used to seeing that over the next few years.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited for it. We all are. And we will hopefully be back with even more details after the Disney Parks presentation later on today. So let's wrap up and, not wrap up this completely because we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we got to talk about all the movies we saw
this
today, which is some very impressive stuff that we witnessed today.
I know, and instead of going in chronological order, I actually
just keep
want
going
to start
backwards.
we're going to not go completely backwards, but we're going to start at the one that led into all this, and this was Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah.
They only start. Well, actually, no. I guess we did see one other clip, but let's talk about Star Wars Episode 7: The Force Awakens right now.
I have to tell you right now, like it was for many reasons. I will say in a second here, very overwhelming for me because my dream. I remember like years ago when J.J. Abrams first showed up on television and Lost and Alias and everything, and I remember thinking like my goal in life, my adult life, was going to be in a room with this man. And, like, I kind of got there. In my head, I'm going to actually shake his hand someday. And so, he showed up. He was on hand to deliver some exciting news. But I don't want to jump too far ahead into that. I just, needed to throw that out there. But, Michael, do you want to say your impressions here? Are you a Star Wars fan, first of all?
I am. Although I grew up with Star Trek. Star Wars came out when I was in college. So I like both. Mm-hmm. But, so I'm thrilled that they're continuing the Star Wars
with
story,
Disney
especially with Disney, and they talked about that how the special guest who came out talked about how Disney has been supporting Star Wars and the storytelling in an extraordinary way, and I think we're seeing that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and of course J.J. Abrams had to bring along his normal posse that he's been going around to all the conventions with. John Boyega.
Yeah, who I am already in love with. So
Oscar Isaac, of course, who is
amazing actor.
Amazing. And then Daisy
Ridley. Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, and
I knew her name. I don't know why I looked at this.
They're doing really great at smiling at all these.
Don't forget about Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh yeah,
too.
Lupita Nyong'o was out there.
Who's in all 18 films that are being made by Disney between now and the next D23 Expo.
Yes, and as J.J. Abrams said, that Lupita Nyong'o is now legally required to be in every Disney movie out there.
Yeah. She's great. I love her, too, though. She's a phenomenal actress.
No, and it was kind of sad that we didn't get to really see any brand new footage.
No, but, you're right. And you know what? And I think that I almost expected them to be like, well, here's one scene. And then I think Iger was like, well, we got to give him something. And that's where he was like, drop the ball here. Drop the bomb here. Like, let him have it. Like
that was... Sorry?
Well, we did get a poster, though.
We did get a great poster that...
I had mine's under. I put it on the Twitter. I put them under the couch to keep them safe. Sorry, I'm already like guarding it like it's like hidden treasure.
Okay, well, while I get the poster, why don't you tell them who was actually the special guest star?
Well, I want to back real quick just to the first beginning. I thought the way they introed into the Star Wars section was really cool because I loved that the whole time there was the standard issue. They're under the left side of the couch. They did the Disney, the castle in the foreground that kind of appears before every Disney film. They panned, all of a sudden it pans up into the stars above the castle. And that was the first time for me that I've seen like a visual that I was like, man, this is how Lucasfilm fits in here. Like it was a really cute like thing. And then, and then J.J. Abrams came out, followed by this young talent, and then followed by, which I almost started crying, check out the...
He brought out two of the actors on the poster, and as the actors came out and talked, and then they said, but there's one person who's on the poster who's not here, and that was Harrison Ford. And then, guess who walks out?
Yeah. Craig and I just were like freaking out. We just stared at each other, and we're like, no! It was a moment. It was
the audience just went nuts.
And you know what? The second he came out and they introduced him, I just thought, and he started speaking about Disney and his relationship with them because now they also own the Indiana Jones and stuff like that. And I got to tell you, next time D23 rolls around, Harrison Ford's going to be a Disney legend. He's going to be inducted in for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he gave one of the most emotional speeches that I've heard at any expo anywhere. Oh, there's a giant bag with cool stuff on it over there. Sorry, I got distracted. But it was almost like Michael's intro yesterday to the live show.
It's back.
But no, so emotional, so great. I wish we were able to take video of it.
He seemed to be like, I wasn't sure how he was going to take him because, you kind of hear these like, he's a myth, he's a man, he's just one of those people that you're like, either he's going to be really bad mood, does he want to be here? But he seemed genuinely taken aback by the audience. Like he seemed like he was might have gotten getting a little choked up. And,
most definitely. And also just very appreciative, not just of George Lucas and J.J. Abrams and Bob Iger, but of the fans.
Oh, yeah.
Because, really, again, a common theme that was running through this was everybody saying it's the fans who made this happen. And that's definitely what they said for Star Wars.
Absolutely. So, we got to see all that great stuff during the Force Awakens part, and then we did get a little tiny bit
a little
tiny bit more, of course, of Rogue One.
Yeah, okay, and then there is other information they gave us that I do want to share as well
We'll go into that after that.
Yeah, Rogue
Because
One, yeah.
We saw Rogue One. Well, we didn't see it, but Gareth Edwards came on
sent a video presentation to us, yeah.
That's a good way. I should have said it that way.
A 5-second one.
Yeah, a very, very short one. But no, we also got a look at the cast, including the star of it, Felicity Jones, and an exclusive first look at the whole cast together in the first publicity photo. And Rogue One, it's going to be
it looks like it has an interesting, like I have to say, of all these movies, like it's very high caliber talent they're attracting, and this movie is very diverse cast that my interest is incredibly piqued.
I mean, a movie about the Band of Resistance that they're going there to steal the Death Star plans.
Yeah.
You can't.
Right. And it's cool to see. You go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Well, it takes place before Episode 4, A New Hope.
Yeah.
And it's telling us also the backstory of Han Solo.
No. That's a separate movie.
That's a separate one.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. There's more Star Wars goodness.
So, on Michael's note, they did rediscuss that they'd already released this maybe a week or two ago, but they don't have a name for it yet. They're just calling it a new Star Wars story. But it's going to be the Han Solo kind of an origin piece, and it's directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're wonderful talent, Lego Movie, they're involved with that. Actually, I think they're doing something with Marvel too. So it's interesting that they're kind of getting into the Disney family now too a little bit.
Well, they're extremely great. Who's doing Episode 9?
Colin Trevorrow at Jurassic World. Disney saw the results of that movie and they swooped him up like nobody's business. Is all I can think about. They made a fun joke about that too. There, I thought I love Iger. Sense of humor. Like we hired him anyways, even though he knocked out our movie from number 3.
Yeah,
down
Avengers, I think.
Yeah, that was a great little bit.
Yeah.
So that is essentially all the Star Wars information that came out there. So why don't we actually go back to the beginning then? Shall we? Maybe?
Sure. Yeah. That's a good idea.
So live action panel, of course, started out with the same sizzle reel that we got to see at the animation session yesterday. Really great, really beautiful. Hopefully they release it as a trailer on a Blu-ray or something later on.
That would be
nice.
It's very moving, and so instead of always going into the names of everyone who came out and stuff, well, I guess that's an important part.
Yeah, but we could just kind of like. It was. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was like A-lister after A-lister after A-lister came out during this panel, and I was like, I wrote them all down because I was like, this will be the first time in my life I'm gonna have trouble like remembering how many of these people I was just in a room with.
Well, let's start at the beginning. The first part of Walt Disney live action that came out. Marvel.
Yeah, well, so Alan Horn, the chairman of the Walt Disney Studios, he kind of started the introduction, and then he turned it over to Kevin. I've always said Kevin Feige, and I learned today that it's Feige.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. Like I've been pronouncing your name wrong all the time. If you watch this, let's be best friends. But
yeah.
An important thing that Alan Horn said, because this was a recurring theme among many of the comments, was that the common thread that binds all of the studios under Disney, Walt Disney Animation, Pixar, Disney Studios, Marvel, and Lucasfilm, is that it's our love of Disney, but also the values of Disney that includes honesty, integrity, courage, and kindness. Because that was brought up a number of times by the directors and producers of these films.
And I thought that was an interesting, it's nice to hear them still say that there's like they have this integrity that they're still going with. Especially in a time where like cinema is always about dark and gritty and how and that's an area they can explore, but they still keep the heart of it alive.
Okay.
Right.
Well, should we get to Marvel?
Yes, we absolutely should.
The first, we only got to see a glimpse into 2 upcoming Marvel films. The first one is that's coming out next fall. Yes, Doctor Strange, starring Benedict Cumberbatch.
And it's they said they'd been working on this for like I forget how many years. Yeah, before the MCU
Marvel,
even began, and so that makes me that piqued my interest immediately because that means they've been like cracking at it for a long time and.
And for all you oldsters out there, MCU is Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
I want to point out, too, this was a good fact they threw out there, was that Ant-Man was just their 12 consecutive hit in a row.
Which is amazing.
So they're just still going,
No, and Ant-Man doing so well was also a good sign that something like Doctor Strange could come along and really start to push the boundaries of Marvel. And, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch couldn't be on hand with us to actually come out and talk about it, but he did also send a video clip. And I wrote down a brief version of how he stated the movie was, but he said there'll be women's cars and astral projections into other dimensions.
Yeah, and they like that. I gotta say that video he made was really funny too. He's very.
It was very funny,
guy.
And also we got to see a concept art video.
Oh
that
yeah,
it was like a mini trailer.
It was cool. Like that to me was like right there. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see these visuals translated. And they were really pushing. You can tell that they're. I feel like they're a little nervous, but when the studio is because they repeatedly were saying this movie is dimensions, other dimensions, interdimensional, astral projections. So they're trying to be like, brace yourself. You thought like the talking tree was the weirdest thing we could do.
We can
Here
do
comes
weirder,
a new thing. So and that's good.
Something not so weird. The next movie that came up, Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, and this was very exciting because right before this, Chris, sorry, you're not Chris. Craig said, Anthony Mackie was on hand for something else before 2013, and you had maybe predicted he'd be here again. So he came out, and I was like, oh, Craig knew. But then the second he came out, he was like, well, I can't do this presentation without Captain America himself.
And
Chris Evans.
Again, that's the first time the audience just went nuts.
Yeah.
Lost.
Women
Oh my gosh,
swooned
yeah.
and all that. And for those of you who don't know, Anthony Mackie is Sam Wilson, the Falcon, in the Avenger films.
Yeah, and of course, Civil War is based off of one of the most popular Captain America plot lines from the actual comic books. And, it was so great that they were actually on hand because they made it very clear it's still filming in Germany. So they had to fly from Germany overnight, be here, and then they're also leaving today, too. So
that's crazy.
Thank gosh that they came there for it.
Because they brought us a little something special.
Oh, yeah, because they brought us a great sizzle reel.
They did.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Easter egg they put in there?
Yeah, there was a little Easter egg for us that was just for the D23 members. There was let's just say a containment pod.
Yeah.
Holding one of the characters.
The Winter Soldier.
And I wasn't even going to go that far.
Oh well.
But
I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert. And on it there was a serial number for it, and it said D23.
Yeah. That was cool. I do want to say that I was looking really close at it, too. Just to be jealous, it was also the first look. We saw the Black Panther in costume for the first time, and his like little fingernails shot out of the thing. It was it was a very awesome little thing. And Paul Rudd's appearance at the very end,
So funny.
yeah, fantastic. So happy they are continuing with that character.
Yeah, so many great characters from Avengers, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going to be epic. It's going to be great. But so that's going to lead us into the Disney panel. And
so this one was led by Sean Bailey, who's the president of production.
Yep.
And so he came out to introduce some new stuff to us. I just moved my notebook.
And what he talked about, though, is that their goal is to take fairy tales, because that's their legacy, and they reimagine them for a modern audience, such as The Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland. They totally changed the story around. Maleficent was another one. And then, or they stay very close to the original story, but add something new to it, as they did with Cinderella, and as they're doing to a couple of their new films that are coming up. And even though, I have to admit, I have been on the Disneyland show, I have just really blasted Disney for the lack of creativity in remaking animated films.
But
These.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
These
I'm
turn the
taking
tide, I
it
think,
all back
Yeah.
based on what we saw today.
Oh yeah. And we'll start with the first one, The Finest Hour.
Which is this is an original one. This isn't one of the remakes. On that note, this is
Exactly. Yes. Sorry. It's a brand new original movie starring Chris Pine that's based off of true events that I had never heard about.
Was Chris Pine there today?
Oh yeah, Chris Pine.
Captain
he came
Kirk
out there.
himself popped on out. I almost lost it.
I was expecting a bigger response for him, but it was
Me
still a very
too.
lovely response,
I love
to
that
say
guy.
the least. And of course, The Finest Hour is coming out in January of 2016, and essentially, for no one who knows the plot, off the coast of Massachusetts.
Yeah, it was near Chatham.
Yeah, there was a storm that actually ripped a tanker in half, and so the Coast Guard had to go out and rescue them in the actual storm that was taking place, and they were only in a boat that could hold 12 people, and they had to be able to come back with 33 and rescue them
Yeah.
all. And Chris Pine plays the very strong captain of the Coast Guard boat that
Bernie Weber. Yeah.
Bernie Weber, who will not leave. I believe the
Yeah.
exact quote was, "We all live or we all die."
Yeah.
It looked like it'd be a very powerful movie, to say the least.
And yeah, it took place in 1952, and the problem they had is there were two ships that were in danger of going down. And so the first one, the Coast Guard sent out everything that they had to rescue that ship, and then this ship
Yeah, because I don't think I think it was
Split-
they didn't know the other one was there.
Right.
Yeah, so
split in two. All they had was their B team, this one little 36-foot wooden boat, to go out in 70-foot waves to rescue this tanker and its crew, and it just looks incredible.
It does. And the next movie that they talked about...
that's
took
January
up-
2016, by the way.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I already said that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The next movie that took up a good chunk of time of this presentation, one of the ones that we already were kind of hinting towards, The Jungle Book, due out in April 2016. Of course, directed by the very talented Jon Favreau.
Jean Favreau, who again made an appearance out on the stage here, so that was also just like another, he's been in bed with the Disney family before. That was a weird way to say that, but with Iron Man 1 and 2, and so he has a great relationship with Disney, it seems, and
he was very humble in this. And
Oh, yeah.
in terms of making the movie, talking about, are we doing this as, are we building upon what we love, and are we really adding to the tradition before they would actually
Right.
go through and make this movie? So you could tell how passionate he was.
Yeah.
And one thing I didn't expect is how technologically advanced this
Yeah,
movie
I was
gonna
really-
be.
I was
really
surprised
is.
by that.
Yeah. It was interesting because they said, they always said, what are we going to bring that's new to this story? Alan Horn had grown up with the Rudyard Kipling stories, and of course Jon Favreau grew up with The Jungle Book, the 1967 animated film, which was his favorite film. And so together they merged what they grew up with in order to make what looks like a feast for the eyes, really.
Oh, yeah,
this
it's-
film.
And what made me really happy is Jon Favreau said that it being technologically innovative, sometimes you automatically think of like terrible CGI, is that he said, in his opinion, the best type of CGI is the type of CGI that disappears.
Oh, yeah. And on hand to go a little more into this movie was Ben Kingsley, who's going to play Bagheera in it, the Black Panther that watches over Mowgli, who was also there, Neil Setti. And then, as we already talked about once, Lupita Nyong'o was there, and she was playing
I didn't catch the name, and they didn't say it again. It's the mother wolf.
Yeah, she's the mother wolf.
Mowgli's mother.
Yeah.
And again, just three amazing people to have up on stage. Ben Kingsley spoke so highly
Oh my
of
gosh,
the little
he
boy
was
playing
like-
Mowgli,
yeah.
who was just all over the place.
Neil
in excitement.
Seto. who's
Seto?
just-
Neil
Sorry.
Setti.
Seti.
Yeah.
Setti.
Can't read my
Seto.
own writing.
Yeah, it was. I have to say also, Ben Kingsley, man, that guy was like
The
he
most
just seemed-
humble.
Yeah, exactly. He was bowing, throwing kisses, waving to everybody. Like he was just and he was like kind of shy too because he hid behind Lupita for a second there too. I thought that was
Yeah.
very from such a high caliber actor. This is Gandhi up on stage here, and it was a very cool. And so they showed us the sizzle reel, a little clip, more than I expected. And Jon Favreau says right before it starts that it was all filmed in downtown Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and you you couldn't tell. There was no way you could tell. And so we got to see it along with the cast for the first time, too.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool.
And yeah, they said it was an unfinished, never shown before, even to the cast. This wasn't a trailer. Well, it sure looked like one to me.
Yeah.
But if you like if you're a fan of the 1967 animated film, this has all your favorite scenes. It has Baloo, who is voiced by Bill Murray, singing the bare necessities, floating down the river with Mowgli on his stomach. Christopher Walken is King Louie.
Was the,
I mean, how
nail in
perfect.
my the
How
nail in the
perfect
coffin where
is
it's like,
that?
you sold me. You should have led with that.
And in an interesting casting choice that I think will be excellent, Scarlett Johansson is the voice of Kaa.
Sounded great.
Yeah.
It sounded really good, and something I would have never thought of, but
And
it worked.
And Neil, the little boy, was just overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah.
By the audience, the applause for him and how they stood for him.
I know.
And he said that this is so fun, so overwhelming. I just can't talk about it. It's crazy.
Absolutely. What was underwhelming, though, was the next movie that they talked about.
I was I was disappointed.
Alice Through the
but-
Looking Glass, which will be coming out next May.
I did not care for the original one of these movies. I was very excited to see it when it came out, but they went through. They did a big presentation
With Mia Wasikowska, or
Yes,
whatever, however you say her freaking name.
I think that was the closest I've heard somebody actually say. I'd never know. People kind of mumble through the end of it, but yeah, she was on hand, and then they showed us what appeared to be a trailer again.
And Michael, what's the plot of this?
The plot of the story, because they were trying to come up with a new angle. And Alice returns to Wonderland because something has happened to her beloved Mad Hatter. And she literally has to race against time, who's played by
Sacha Baron
Cohen.
Yeah. Interesting.
And because she's literally racing through time to save the Hatter and doing time travel, time jumping, we're going to learn all the stories of the major characters and how they've become the characters that they are now.
Yeah, like I don't really care for Alice in Wonderland, but it is what it is, and for the people who love it, I'm sure you'll love it. The next one, which kind of really caught me off guard, because I was also upset when they were talking about doing a remake of this, and now I'm very intrigued, and that's Pete's Dragon.
I didn't realize it was as far along. I mean, it's still a year out because it's not coming out till August 2016, but directed by David Lowery here. But the reel they showed us for this was fantastic. This movie's got Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yep, who was on hand.
And I love her, and
she was gorgeous.
And she was just very personable too, very, very friendly, very well spoken. I'm sure that comes from being in showbiz forever. But she was great, and she's playing a park ranger. Yeah. Well, Michael, do you want to say the plot?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. This is not the 1977 Pete's Dragon at all. Basically, what it is that Bryce Dallas Howard plays a forest ranger, and she comes upon a little boy who seems to be a feral child who somehow managed to live in the forest for 6 years, but he's healthy. And so she asks him, how did you live in the forest by yourself? And he said, I was not by myself. Now, her character as the forest ranger is very pragmatic, is very logical, but as she gets to know Pete and gets to understand his story, her character discovers that magic really does exist.
Exactly, and Robert Redford's going to be a part of it. So his second outing for a Disney or Marvel film, since after he was in Captain America.
Carl Urban.
I love Carl Urban.
Captain or Dr. McCoy in the new Star Trek films.
Exactly, and we didn't actually get to see the dragon,
Just
so
a small,
don't be jealous. Just
small
a drawing.
glimpse, and no.
Well,
at the end, the hand reaches and it's like furry or something, but he touches it and it turns pink. And I don't know. This movie's going to be good, I think.
Yeah, Bryce Howard said that there's a power in this story about what it takes to find your family and how to find one if you've lost it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next movie should also be on the great inspirational level, The Queen of Katwe, which is another true story based around. I got Fiona her last name, and Robert Catterday.
I missed both of the names. I was a little taken back because Lupita showed up again.
Yeah, she showed up again because she's in it playing Fiona's mother in it, and Fiona
alongside David Aiello.
David
It's hard to say, yeah.
Yeah, and
Who played Martin Luther King.
This movie takes place in Uganda about David's character, who is a missionary who comes down and he's trying to get these kids to play soccer in his mission, and they weren't really picking up on it, so he gave them chess. And in this character, Fiona, she's actually a Mozart at chess, and just ends up becoming one of the best chess players in the world. And they didn't really go into a ton of detail on this one, but I'm interested in going and actually reading about the true characters that it's based on.
I was hoping for like a little bit of a reel, because this one looks like it's going to be, from the sound of it, like another one of those good, like small, powerful movies.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, Lupita talked about how the commitment that they had to keeping the story authentic, to keeping it vibrant and full of hope, just as the people of Uganda are vibrant and full of hope. So she was very proud of this
shot on
film.
location there too as well. I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Good for them.
The next one, a very highly anticipated, the second of the two that we are discussing, Beauty and the Beast, which is going to be just a big magical musical.
A musical,
event
that's
coming
exciting.
In March 2017, and with the songs and everything about it, lavish, joyous, just
Directed by Bill Condon, who just did that the Mr. Holmes movie, which was phenomenal with Gandalf. I can't think
Ian
of his-
McKellen?
Ian McKellen, who's also going to be in this movie as well. So that's those pairings you can never go wrong with.
with two new songs written by Alan Menken, and Tim Rice is also coming back as part
so
of it.
excited for that.
Michael, do you want to talk about anything else with that?
Oh no!
Maybe
Emma
the-
Watson was
Yes.
cast as
God, I
Belle,
love Emma
which
Watson.
caused controversy in it when she was cast, because she said, "I guess I'm going to have to take singing lessons." And she did introduce. They had a little video because they're still filming,
Yeah.
and so in her video she talked about how wonderful it was to be cast as Belle, and then she introduced Luke Evans, who is Gaston, and then. Josh Gad, who is LeFou. Although I never knew LeFou sounded a lot like Olaf, which really confused me.
Absolutely.
And then they sang a few songs from Gaston, and they did a great job with that.
I was surprised. I mean, I think I had heard it was going to be a musical, but I liked the confirmation, and then I'm excited that it's also going to be the same songs with some new songs. So that was cool. And when they did those bars, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be good.
Just based off of that, I will admit I've turned my opinion around on it.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited for
Ewan
this.
McGregor singing "Be Our Guest" because he's playing Lumiere is going to be fantastic.
And Emma Thompson is Mrs. Potts.
Oh, yeah.
And Kevin Kline is Maurice.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun.
So both just great
This
actors.
is a well cast movie. Like
It's
well
very
cast,
well
yeah.
cast, and I'm glad that we found out kind of how Emma Watson actually got this role. It's because Alan Horn, when he was at Warner Brothers, he actually cast Emma Watson in Harry Potter and
that
gave
was
her
crazy.
big break. So,
And he said there was only the one girl.
Yep.
That was it.
Yeah.
There were 4 Harrys, there were 4 Rons, just one Hermione, and that was kind of a cool
Yeah.
story.
and now she's Belle, and it's going to be great. And that leads to the last and the one of the biggest applauses during the one.
And this wasn't even the biggest. We already told you the biggest.
Exactly, but the next one, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, which will be coming out in July of 2017. And, of course, on hand after just getting his Disney Legends
Oh, my
Award
gosh.
today. Well, sorry.
Not just on hand. Yeah, Johnny Depp.
was here, but we didn't get to see Johnny Depp. We
No.
got to see Captain Jack Sparrow.
Oh my gosh.
He came out in all his addled glory.
Yeah, I loved it. He was eating some grapes the whole time, and then he's just so. But after seeing Johnny Depp the other day, Johnny Depp and Jack Sparrow, they are the same person almost.
Yeah.
Because Johnny Depp is just starts throwing grapes at the audience. Grapes,
He said,
grapes.
grapes.
Is anybody allergic to grapes? No, and he just starts throwing them, and then he says,
So
I
funny.
hate grapes.
Yeah, so
and then
funny.
he pops another one in his mouth.
Yeah, and we got just a little bit of details on it, including big news. Will Turner's going to be back
that was
in
cool.
the role, so Orlando Bloom's coming back.
But
2
we
new
also get a good
characters.
bad guy. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the new
Javier
bad guy.
Bardem playing Captain Salazar.
Right?
Absolutely, and then 2 new characters, Harry and...
I didn't catch their names because I was writing too fast.
I
yeah.
know the girl, Kaya Scodelario, just because she's from the UK show
Oh, okay.
Skins. I didn't know who the guy was at all, and I literally didn't write
recognize
his
him,
name down.
And Jeffrey Rush as Captain Barbosa will be back.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's always their interactions are always great. So
Yeah.
this one's directed by a pair of directors. I did not recognize their name. It's another one of those like Internet Movie Database. See what else they've done, but it looks like it's gonna. I'm excited.
And the
excited.
names just weren't on the screen long enough for us to actually write them all down.
They
A lot
flashed
of
this
names,
one, yeah.
Not a lot of time to write. But
Plus, when Johnny Depp walks out, Captain Jack Sparrow comes out. You kind of lose your mind.
It almost seemed like it kicked him off stage, though,
Yeah.
in a way.
I felt like they were pulling him. He wanted to keep going, and they were like, "All right, time to go."
He came back out even at one point.
Oh yeah, no, it was
Oh
pretty
no!
ridiculous.
This was my favorite line. I wrote it down. I'm sorry. They were who was out there with him? Alan. Alan was out there with him, right?
No, Alan came out after. It's the president.
Oh, okay. And he said, did you hear Johnny Depp became a legend yesterday? And Jack Sparrow goes, more like a Disney legion.
Yeah, that was
and I
good.
thought that was really funny. So, yeah.
But that was
then
in a
Alan
nutshell.
came back. Yeah,
that was in a nutshell. That was everything that happened at the live action. So
and we got a poster for the Jungle Book as well.
we did, but I'm not going behind to get that one. But that's going to do it for that. So I'm actually going to kick off Michael and Rhino because I know that they have other things that they need to do. And before I go, because I have to get over to the parks really soon here, but Tom, can I get you to come on and talk about the one announcement that was made yesterday in your panel? Do you have the time for it?
Tom's making time for us. How nice of him.
Tom, come
Here you go,
on.
Tom.
Sit
have
down
my
beside
microphone.
me.
It would honor me.
Thank you, Rhino.
So we wish we could have made this breaking news last night.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we literally got kicked out of our expo floor
Yes,
by the fire marshals.
We were encouraged to go.
Yeah. But, Tom, tell us about what happened yesterday.
Okay,
with
so
you.
I went to how much time do we have?
We'll give it 5-10 minutes.
Okay, cool. Cover a couple things. I went to a presentation, Safari So Good, 60 Years of the Jungle Cruise, and it was hosted by Kevin Lively, who is an Imagineer, but also a former Jungle Cruise skipper at a couple different parks.
Nice.
And it was a panel of former Jungle Cruise skippers that are now Imagineers.
Yeah.
So they did a little bit of history, talked about some of the building of the Jungle Cruise, both here and in Florida. Some awesome footage of the old Disneyland TV show of showing building it. Let me skip ahead because we are short for time. And I know we don't always talk about Tokyo, but I want to talk about the new refresh of Tokyo because who knows if we'll get it. Yeah. So Tokyo was recently refreshed. There's a new storyline. It's called, they're calling it Friend of the Jungle, which is kind of an ecological storyline for the Jungle Cruise. There are different spirit animals associated with each of the boats. There's a new musical score that's on board the boat. So you got music on the boat.
Nice, I like it.
They have their hippo bank, their hippo pool has like fog around it now, which is very cool. They have taken the temple. They have a similar temple to Magic Kingdom, and they've done video mapping.
Okay.
So you go into the temple, and it appears like it's a rundown temple.
Yeah.
Spirit animal aboard your boat comes to life and uses his magic to restore the temple to its former glory.
Okay.
Which
Sounds
is kind of cool.
promising.
And they also have a nighttime experience with different lighting and different effects on the Jungle Cruise.
So do you think
So,
it's actually going to come to anything in domestic parks?
That I'm not sure of. Maybe let me talk about the next thing, and you'll kind of get a clue as to probably why it may not come to Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
They announced yesterday confirmed the Jungle Navigation Company Limited Skipper Canteen.
Nice.
Which is the new restaurant there in Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World in Adventureland. This is run by the skippers of the Jungle Cruise. The proprietor is Alberta Falls, which is the daughter of Albert Falls,
Nice.
the famous explorer. And it's opening this winter. And they will have 3 different rooms. One of them is a mess hall for the Jungle Cruise skippers. So you get to eat in the mess hall for the Jungle Cruise skippers. They got kind of sidetracked until all the rooms. One of the other rooms is a family room.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then there's another one. And they also said that to go along with this, they were going to have some minor tweaks to Jungle Cruise to bring in the Alberta Falls storyline.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's coming this winter to Magic Kingdom, which is awesome.
Yeah, I guess that would be tough to kind of do the overlay of that and lose it because that would it blends the stories together.
Right,
but,
exactly.
Well, there's always hope for Disneyland, but at the same time, do you want to see it changed in Disneyland.
No.
No.
I'd love to see like maybe the fog in the hippo pool or
yeah,
some of those kind of
the
effects,
new lighting
or
effects.
a nighttime experiences was awesome.
Yeah, that's any surprise appearance. Was John Lasseter there?
No,
Because
I was waiting. That's why I stayed through the whole thing, because I was hoping John Lasseter came in. But the last thing they did is the five skippers turned their backs to the audience. They had the big video screen, and there was a POV video of the Jungle Cruise, and they passed the mic down
Oh, wow.
and did live Jungle Cruise jokes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of awesome.
Yeah. No, that sounds
Yeah, it was
amazing.
very
That was
cool.
one of the ones I really wanted to go to.
Yeah, it was
but
fun.
It
was
oh, that's
fun.
why John Lasseter wasn't there. It was during animation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so anything else to update us with?
No, just having a great time meeting lots of folks here at the Expo, and lots of fans, which is really cool.
So, and like we've said before, if you're watching from here and you haven't stopped over and seen the Diz Unplugged Dreams Unlimited Travel booth, definitely make it a priority to get over here.
We have chocolate.
We have chocolate. We have lots of prizes. Well, not prizes, but a lot of good gifts to give away. And, of course, all our members are here to meet everyone that is coming through. So thank you again, Tom, and thank you everyone for watching. We will be back with a later broadcast. I'm going to say probably around 6:30 Pacific time, just because we're trying to struggle. We can't do it at 7. That's a little bit too late to get out. They'll kick us out again. So we'll probably try to start a little early. It might be a little disorganized because of that, because of trying to get stuff out after the parks panel. But for all those of you who aren't watching live and not listening right away after it goes up, then this really doesn't matter for you anyways. But I just want to say thank you to everyone again out there who is taking the time to actually pay attention to us while we're giving you our D23 coverage. We will keep coming with you for the rest of the day and tomorrow, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.